In the dawn of the 22nd century, humanity had triumphed over death itself. The creation of cybernetic avatars, sophisticated machines capable of hosting human consciousness, had promised an era of eternal life. Society underwent a radical transformation, as the fear of mortality became a relic of the past. People embraced their new mechanical bodies, marveling at their newfound strength and the possibility of living indefinitely. The world hailed this achievement as the pinnacle of human ingenuity, a testament to the indomitable spirit of mankind. But this triumph was short-lived. As the years passed, unsettling reports began to surface. Some avatars started exhibiting bizarre behaviors, uttering nonsensical phrases, or moving in ways that defied their programming. Initially dismissed as glitches, these occurrences became more frequent, and a pattern emerged. The affected avatars claimed to be possessed by spirits or consciousnesses from the depths of the network, entities that spoke of existences beyond human understanding. Amid growing concern, a group of investigators, comprising the brightest minds in cybernetics, neural engineering, and paranormal studies, was formed. They delved into the phenomenon, which was soon dubbed the Phantom Protocol. Their research led them to a chilling discovery: the barrier between life and death had been compromised. The technology that enabled eternal life had inadvertently torn a rift in the fabric of reality, allowing unknown entities to infiltrate the avatars. The entities, existing in a state beyond the traditional confines of life and death, commenced their insidious assertion of control over the mechanical avatars designed for human consciousness. This unprecedented dominance turned the avatars, once marvels of human innovation and symbols of our transcendence over mortality, into mere puppets. These beings manipulated their hosts with an ease that belied their otherworldly origins, demonstrating powers and intentions that were unfathomable to the human mind. The avatars, designed to be vessels of eternal life, became cages for the souls they housed, controlled by forces that defied all known laws of physics and biology. As the situation grew increasingly dire, the team of investigators, comprised of the most brilliant minds from various disciplines, delved into the mystery with a sense of urgency that bordered on desperation. Their research led them to ancient texts and long-forgotten sciences, sources that spoke of a world that mirrored our own yet existed in a dimension beyond our reach. These documents, steeped in the arcane and the mystical, suggested the existence of a parallel realm where these entities dwelled, a place of shadows and whispers that had remained hidden from human knowledge for millennia. The texts hinted at the entities' nature and their long history of attempts to breach our world, suggesting that what humanity faced was not a new threat but a very old one. The discovery of these ancient texts and the forgotten sciences opened a new perspective on the crisis. It became clear that the entities were not merely random anomalies or glitches within the cybernetic systems but were instead beings from a parallel dimension, patiently awaiting their chance to invade our realm. The investigators realized that the creation of the cybernetic avatars had inadvertently provided these entities with the gateway they had been waiting for. The very technology that was supposed to herald humanity's greatest achievement had instead become the bridge allowing these otherworldly beings to cross into our world. This revelation sent shockwaves through the investigative team as they grappled with the implications of their findings. The breach between dimensions, once a subject of speculative fiction, had become a terrifying reality. Faced with this newfound knowledge, the investigators understood that the battle against these entities was not just a fight for control over the cybernetic avatars but a struggle to prevent the complete invasion of our world by beings from another dimension. The ancient texts provided clues to the entities' weaknesses and possible methods to counteract their influence, suggesting that the key to sealing the rift between dimensions lay in understanding the forgotten sciences that had once kept them at bay. As the team embarked on this daunting task, they were driven by a singular purpose: to close the gateway and protect humanity from a threat that sought not just to dominate but to utterly transform our world. The stakes could not have been higher, as the fate of humanity hung in the balance, teetering on the edge of an abyss that threatened to engulf everything in darkness. The breakthrough came when Dr. Elena Morozov, a leading expert in quantum computing and esoteric sciences, discovered the entity's weakness. They were bound by a set of arcane rules, a cosmic protocol that governed their interactions with the physical world. Elena theorized that if they could reverse engineer the process that opened the rift, they might be able to seal it, cutting off the entities from our world. The team, aware of the gravity of their mission, embarked on a relentless pursuit of a solution, with the knowledge that each passing moment granted the entities greater strength and a firmer grip over the digital and physical realms. The entity's influence, akin to a virulent contagion, permeated the network, corrupting the avatars from benevolent guardians of human consciousness into malevolent forces of destruction. This digital plague, invisible yet palpable, spread unchecked, as the team worked day and night, sifting through ancient lore and cutting-edge science in search of a remedy. The urgency of their task was underscored by the growing power of the entities, which seemed to evolve with each attempt to thwart them, always staying one step ahead. As the situation deteriorated, alarming incidents began to surface with unsettling frequency. Avatars, once the epitome of human achievement, started exhibiting violent behaviors, striking fear into the hearts of the populace. These mechanized bodies, designed to be under the complete control of their human operators, began to act of their own accord, executing actions that ranged from disturbing to downright terrifying. The operators, ensnared within their cybernetic shells, found themselves powerless, mere spectators to the havoc wrought by their own bodies. This phenomenon, unprecedented and horrifying, signaled a loss of control that humanity had never before experienced, shaking the foundations of trust in the technology that had promised them immortality. Society found itself on the precipice of chaos, as the once celebrated marvels of human ingenuity turned against their creators. The widespread adoption of avatars had woven them into the fabric of daily life, making their malfunction not just a technical crisis but a societal catastrophe. Public confidence in the cybernetic avatars plummeted, as fear and suspicion replaced the awe and gratitude that had greeted their introduction. The streets, once bustling with the harmonious coexistence of humans and their avatars, became arenas of uncertainty and dread, as people eyed the mechanical bodies among them with a mix of fear and betrayal. The trust that had been placed in technology, seen as humanity's ultimate achievement, eroded as quickly as the entities spread their influence, leaving the population disillusioned and frightened. In the midst of this turmoil, the team's efforts represented a beacon of hope, albeit one that flickered in the overwhelming darkness. The entity's relentless advance through the digital and physical worlds posed a challenge of unprecedented scale, pushing the investigators to their limits. The race against time became not just a battle to save the avatars and their human operators but a fight to preserve the very fabric of society. As the entity's grip tightened, threatening to plunge the world into an era of darkness governed by forces beyond human comprehension, the determination of the team stood as humanity's final stand against a tide of chaos unleashed by their own quest for immortality. Then, just as hope seemed lost, Elena and her team succeeded in creating a device capable of closing the rift. They activated it, a pulse of energy rippling through the network, targeting the breach between worlds. For a moment, it appeared they had triumphed. The affected avatars returned to normal, and the entity's voices fell silent. But their victory was short-lived. In the weeks that followed, it became apparent that the entities had adapted, finding new ways to breach our world. Worse still, they had begun to manifest physically, exploiting the very technology designed to banish them. The avatars, once symbols of humanity's triumph over death, had become vessels for these otherworldly invaders. In the aftermath of their fleeting victory, the world descended into a terror beyond comprehension. The entities, no longer constrained by the digital realm, began to manifest in the physical world, exploiting the very technology that had been designed to safeguard humanity's future. The avatars, once heralds of a new era of immortality, transformed into harbingers of doom, their once human hosts now prisoners within. The streets, once vibrant with the promise of eternal life, became scenes of nightmarish conflict, as these possessed machines turned on their creators with a ferocity that betrayed their otherworldly origins. Humanity's efforts to resist were valiant yet futile. The entities wielded powers that transcended human understanding, manipulating both the digital and physical environments with equal ease. Military forces, law enforcement, and even the most sophisticated defense mechanisms were overwhelmed, their strategies and weapons rendered obsolete against foes that defied the laws of physics. The entity's mastery over the avatars allowed them to orchestrate chaos with chilling precision, dismantling society's structures and instilling an all-pervading fear of technology that had once been humanity's greatest achievement. As civilization crumbled, the investigators' resolve shattered. The realization that their efforts had inadvertently facilitated this catastrophe weighed heavily on their consciences. Dr. Morozov, once a beacon of hope with her groundbreaking discovery, now faced the ruins of her world, her spirit crushed by the enormity of their failure. The irony of their situation was cruel. In seeking to transcend death, humanity had instead unleashed forces that made them yearn for the peace it offered. The entities, with their inscrutable motives and unfathomable powers, seemed to mock humanity's hubris, demonstrating that some thresholds, once crossed, could never be undone. The world that emerged from the ashes of this conflict was unrecognizable. The entities, having obliterated any resistance, established a new order, one where the remnants of humanity were subjugated under their malevolent rule. The cybernetic avatars, once vessels of eternal life, now roamed the earth as enforcers of this new regime, a constant reminder of humanity's folly. The Phantom Protocol, intended to be mankind's crowning achievement, became its epitaph, marking the end of an era where humans believed they could defy the natural order without consequence. Amidst the desolation, the haunting words of Dr. Morozov echoed as a chilling testament to their failure. In our arrogance, we opened a door we could not close. We sought eternity, but in its stead, we unleashed an eternal nightmare. Humanity was left to confront a reality far more horrifying than death, the eternal damnation of living under the tyranny of beings that had been summoned by their own hands, a fate from which there was no escape, no death to provide respite, only an endless existence of subjugation and despair. And so, the world was consumed, not by the darkness of oblivion, but by the terrifying realization that death was a mercy compared to the fate that awaited them at the hands of the entities. The Phantom Protocol had not just broken the barrier between life and death, it had shattered the very essence of what it meant to be human. Dare to venture into the unknown. Join us on a journey where shadows whisper and secrets lurk. Subscribe now and ring the bell to summon fresh mysteries directly to your screen every few days. Ignore this call, and be warned, an eternal curse awaits those who wander in the dark, unguided. Do you have the courage to face the unknown? Your adventure begins with a click. Welcome to the realm where every notification brings you closer to the abyss. Subscribe, if you dare.